Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeff Dunphy from RetoolingTheWorld.com. Yet another story, one of those that I think you may find quite meaningful. It's called The River and the Rope. There were once two countries, one called the Land of Bliss, flowing with milk and honey, the other in an arid region, full of strife and unrest, and this was called the Land of Woe. They were separated by a swift, wide, and dangerous river, and those who sought to cross that river lost their lives in the attempt. Then one day, there came a man who, because of his love for the people, decided to try to place a rope from one bank to the other. He reasoned that even if he lost his life in the attempt, it would not matter so much because others could use the rope to help themselves across safely. And so, he fixed one end of the rope to a tree, made a noose of the other end, and started to swim. The river was very wide and rough, and when he was about halfway across, some hunters on the banks of the Land of Woe, seeing the splashing, thought it was a great fish and shot their arrows, mortally wounding him. Nevertheless, with a last and great effort, he managed to throw the noose of his rope around the stump of a tree before he sank below the waves. When the people saw what had happened, they began to worship him as a hero, saying, "He died to save us, and so he is worthy of our adulation and love." And yet, although they worshipped him, only a small handful attempted to cross the river, for the others said within themselves, "Even though the rope is there, and we cannot drown if we cling thereto, the waters are cold and the river's wide, and the effort of crossing is very great." And so in the course of time, the rope was almost forgotten and became covered with weeds and entangled in the fallen branches of trees, so that it hardly resembled a rope at all. But the worship of the hero continued, and monuments and buildings were erected to his memory, and people sang songs of adulation to him and prayed to him because of his great love for them. Second, third, and fourth generations of men came into being, and their leaders, men of learning, preached of the hero and how he had died to save them. But of the river and the rope across the river, they never spoke, for now it had been forgotten altogether. Consequently, a great confusion arose by reasons of the arguments and teachings and oratory, and finally, many superstitions came into being, so that only a very few were able to discern the difference between folly and truth. Also, much discourse arose among them, and they quarreled and fought, and those few who were able to discern the truth were persecuted and reviled. Thus, the Land of Woe became more stricken with sorrow and unrest than it already was. Finally, a body of learned men arose, and they cried, "Why this strife? All that is needful is to worship this hero as a god, and to believe that he died to save others, and lo, when we ourselves die, we shall go to the Land of Bliss with no trouble at all. For although our bodies cannot float across the river while we are alive, our souls will float across it when we are dead." Moreover, so great was his love and power and heroism that all we ask of his spirit he will surely do, if we but shower enough worship on him in return. When the people heard this, they were overcome with joy and heaped honors upon the teachers, saying, "Oh, and great is their wisdom, for they have shown us an easy way. Simple indeed it is to worship and pray, and to ask our hero to save us when we die. So now let us eat, drink, and be merry, and make the best of our sojourn in the Land of Woe." But meanwhile, the spirit of that hero looked upon his brothers with sadness as he listened to their petitions and prayers. And into their ears he whispered, "My brothers, you do err, for verily I lived to save you. But alas, here you have forgotten the rope which I placed across the river between the lands of woe and bliss. For to that end did I come, and for no other. Because of my love for you, my spirit is close to you, and I will comfort and cheer you in your adversities. Yet carry you across the river I must not, however much you pray and implore." But although the hero spoke to them thus, yet too loud did they utter their prayers and petitions to hear the still small voice of his spirit. So did they remain in the Land of Woe. This is a very important message for would-be initiates. into the pursuit of your genius. And we at Retooling would like very much to share some of those tools with you. There are far too many people anxious to pray and petition the masters, but not necessarily prepared to do the hard work, and it is hard work. The world has needs of heroes, of both men and women, heroes that would dare take the rope across the river to the land of bliss, thus showing everybody how to do it, that their actions, through their actions, that there is a path, that with courage and persistence, the way across the river can be taken. Every man or woman must make this journey himself. We call this the path of initiation, the path of return, the path of discipleship, and it must be trod alone. We here at Retooling are here to help you discover your genius, here to help you discover the tools necessary that you can walk this path, if you choose to. This isn't an easy path. Thank you for all of us at Retooling the World for allowing us to be of service.